Alright, so we've already covered the pea shooter and how its design has changed along with its games, slowly exaggerating its proportions, leading to an increasingly cartoony design language. The pea shooter, some might argue, is the main plant of the series, as in most of its appearances it's the first plant you're given. So with that in mind, let's see how its nemesis fares from game to game. The Browncoat. Calling them main zombies would be mostly correct, as this one zombie alone makes up a large portion of the first game's roster, just with various different objects on its head. Here he is. This first design laid the groundwork for the Browncoat's appearances, with the bulging eyes, green skin and that classic outfit. So your standard Browncoat can withstand 270 points of damage. So when they start wearing things on their head, it's easy enough to tell how they rank health wise. The conehead zombie wears a traffic cone for protection. Traffic cones are not exactly nuclear proof, however it's better than not using protection. So the traffic cone adds 370 health on top of the 270 base health. The next step up is the bucket head. It's clear it's the next step up, as a metal bucket is more durable than traffic cone, adding an additional 1,100 points, all numbers I've pulled off the wiki. While the exact amount of health might not be obvious, from a glance you know which one is going to be more of a threat based off what they have protecting their heads. On top of this we have a Browncoat dressed as an athlete holding a pole. I wonder what it's capable of. The snorkel zombie, ducky tube zombie, bobsled team, the list goes on. This game is full of Browncoats in various different outfits taking on various different jobs, obvious through their get-ups. Then we have the screen door zombie. At a glance you may think all is well, but looking a little deeper has me confused. In addition to that 270 health, the screen door it holds adds an additional 1,100 health, the same as the bucket head. However, using a catapult can easily kill the zombie holding it as it goes over the shield and damages the zombie directly, which makes sense. However, shooting a bucket head with a pea shooter doesn't bypass the armor, even though you're not shooting the bucket. The inconsistency here kind of bothers me. The football zombie not being vulnerable to either pea shooters or catapults makes sense, as it has armor covering its entire body. Screen door zombie being vulnerable to catapults also makes sense. So why introduce an idea only to contradict that idea? Regardless, we now have a template for the series moving forward. Plants vs Zombies 2, a game that took our plants and redesigned them for this new experience. How did the Browncoat fare? Well, it's the exact same design. Well, if it isn't broke, then don't fix it. PopCap must have really been passionate about that saying as well. They did away with every other body type, and made every enemy, bar the Gargs and Imps, Browncoats. However, we do have different costumes reflecting the time period they appear in. The Garden Warfare games literally just put the design in 3D. Heroes? I admire them for sticking to their guns. I'm glad it's not been changed all these years later. It's an iconic zombie design that shows how timeless it is by not looking out of place even now. Even with BFN, the design has only been altered a little bit, but this video is losing more meaning as the seconds tick by. Finally, we have Plants vs Zombies 2. Finally, we have some changes. I say changes, but even then, they're incredibly minimal. We have some minor changes to the proportions, which does seem necessary, as dragging and dropping the original design into a game where the entire cast has been considerably altered would look out of place. But how is it that the pea shooter looked different in all of its appearances, slowly evolving over its entries? It's odd that the Browncoat has only changed slightly in the franchise's history. We have evident confidence in this character's design and a franchise that has redesigned the rest of its characters almost every time they've appeared, which is amazing that at least one part of the original game remains intact after all the abuse this franchise has seen.